I'm recording this video a little bit ahead of time because I will be live streaming today for over an hour long. But regardless of that, I don't think that the short-term price action really matters because what we are focused on is where we are headed. And when we think about altcoins, guys, the show is just beginning. When we take a quick look at this market, we're hovering right around 3.74, roughly 3.75 trillion. We'll just round it up. And altcoin season is at 31 out of 100, while Bitcoin is hovering around 120K. Last night, I did make a video at midnight, and I was talking a little bit about Bitcoin, hovering under 120K, and I said, this thing is going to tap 120K probably by the time that this video goes live. By the time that video went live, Bitcoin was already at $122,000. So the moves are getting, a lot faster. They're getting a lot more volatile. And this is exactly what we want to see. Now, the main thing here is Ethereum, okay? And I know you guys are going to be saying, Nick, we don't care about Bitcoin. We don't care about Ethereum. We care about altcoins. And guess what? I care about altcoins way more than Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. But we still need to get through the phases of the cycle because these two are creating us a ton of liquidity that will trickle down and allow for our altcoins to go parabolic. If we look at Ethereum on the 30-day and on the 7-day, it's now outperforming Bitcoin. This is at a time where almost everyone is still focused on Bitcoin. Mainstream media is still focused on Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs. They don't even care to talk about Ethereum. And this is the big sign of what's to come. Because when Ethereum actually starts to go crazy, every single mainstream media outlet is going to flip the switch and say, guess what? Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin. It's going to do this. Bitcoin, Ethereum is going crazy. When that happens, phase 2 of the cycle is officially here. Now, when we think about altcoins over the last 7 days, altcoins have been going insane. Some of them are now starting to hit that higher time frame resistance and they're starting to sell off a bit. XLM is a perfect example of this. It is up 80% still on the 7-day, but it is down about 4.41% on the 24-hour. This is because XLM did hit higher time frame resistance and it's rejecting it a bit. But outside of that, most altcoins are still pretty green on the 7-day span, and XLM is definitely there as well. Algo up 60+%, HBAR 50+%. And the rest of the market is just looking very, very good. And by the way, yes, XRP did surpass $3 slightly earlier today. It's now down a bit, but everyone's going to make an excuse on why. It's mainly because Bitcoin did have a little bit of a sell-off today as well from those high targets. By the way, this high target is exactly what we wanted to see hit. And having a nice little pullback is healthy. It's healthy price action. It's cooling off right before the next big push to the upside. But let's actually talk a little bit about mainstream media because like I said, mainstream media is all over Bitcoin. And I mean, listen, it's for a good reason. Bitcoin volume in the last 24 hours is up almost $180, it's almost $183 billion. 290% almost. It was at 270% earlier, but now it's at 290% in the last 24 hours. This is extremely bullish. It's showing us that there is still a lot of demand around Bitcoin, and trading volumes, buy and sell volume, by the way, that's included, is starting to pick up. But like I said, mainstream media is all over Bitcoin. Over here we have Bullish. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF has become its most profitable ETF. This is from Bloomberg. Check this out.
Tantrum into a comfortably bullish state of mind here. Let's hone in on the Bitcoin and Ether for a minute here. And since the rally has been all the news today, it's showing in the flows. I think the ETFs have been part of the rally. If you look, this shows the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and here's the spot Ether. So Ether's smaller, but definitely it's trending up. But look at the Bitcoin ETFs. They've taken in $50 billion since they came out. So they came out in January. They had 28 because GBTC was a conversion. Now all the way up there, $155 billion in assets. IBIT more than half. Now the 20th biggest ETF overall, 7th biggest for BlackRock, and most profitable for BlackRock. So 300% return since the ETF was filed 2 years ago, Scarlett, and boom, what an explosion of growth.
Yeah, that chart really shows it all. Eric, thank you so much. Joining our conversation now is Sylvia Jablonski. She is CEO and CIO at DCENT ETFs, and we'll talk about leveraged single stock ETFs.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, Bitcoin ETFs have become very profitable. They've been very successful. And this is actually very good for crypto as a whole because it does provide a little bit more of a spotlight on, just crypto itself from Wall Street and from these big players. But again, it's all about Bitcoin ETFs. Nobody's actually talking about Ethereum ETFs. And I'm going to get to that here in a second. Here we also have CNBC says Bitcoin is in full price discovery mode. And this rally isn't retail driven. 2.7 billion in ETF flows last week. IBIT tops 83 billion assets under management. Shorts getting squeezed. Crypto week on Capitol Hill. The setup, massive momentum from Wall Street to Washington. Now, I will say, I don't think that this is retail driven. I mean, outside of retail buying up the ETFs, which is great to see, most of the price action has been from the big asset management companies and Wall Street, and these companies also buying up Bitcoin. Retail is barely here, and I know that you guys keep saying, oh, well, you keep saying that excuse, but they are here. No, interest around crypto is actually still at massive lows compared to like 2021. But check this out.
Hey, good morning, Carl. Bitcoin surging past $123,000 for the first time ever, placing us firmly in price discovery mode. And this isn't just a retail-driven rally. It's being powered by a rare mix of forces driving sustained institutional demand. Spot Bitcoin ETFs are seeing massive inflows again, $2.7 billion just last week, with nearly half of that in a single day, which was the second biggest session on record. BlackRock's IBIT fund now tops $83 billion in assets, making it one of the fastest growing ETFs in U.S. history. We're also seeing a clear short squeeze. Traders who bet against Bitcoin near the prior highs are being forced to buy back in, which is helping to fuel the rally. And with options having just expired, that cleared out selling pressure and opened the door for more volatility. Crypto bulls are getting a lift from Washington as well. The House is taking up several key bills this week, including one on stablecoin oversight and another tied to a block to a Fed-issued digital dollar. Now, Republicans are calling this crypto week as they push to make the U.S. more hospitable to digital assets. You put it all together, near record ETF inflows, short sellers getting squeezed, and now potential tailwinds from Capitol Hill. It is a powerful setup for continued momentum. Sarah?
Yeah, enthusiasm is high. Thank you, Mackenzie.
And she is 100% correct here. Listen, when we think about Bitcoin, obviously the setup is extremely bullish. It is, and I get that. But we are completely avoiding the elephant in the room, which is Ethereum. Remember this image? I talked about how Ethereum shorts were at all-time highs and that this will lead to a massive short squeeze on Ethereum. Guess what? Ethereum is at $3,000 currently, just hovering above $3,000. The Ethereum leveraged shorts are at record highs. When we think about this, this is also happening at a time where no one is paying attention to the Ethereum ETF inflows. They just hit an all-time high last Friday, now holding over $8 billion. The market is finally waking up. Fundamentals always win eventually. I've been tweeting about them for years. Glad everyone's finally catching up. Now, on top of this, we have here the Ethereum ETF flows are surging again. Weekly momentum just saw $908+ million last week, the strongest week in this year. Price is rising too. ETH was trading around 25, almost 2,600 on July 7th. Today it's above $3,000. That's a 20% move in less than 2 weeks, mirroring ETF inflow momentum. What's driving the demand? ETH as digital oil narrative, gaining traction, regulatory clarity, growing tokenization trend right now, anticipation of Ethereum protocol upgrades, Fusaka, and also Glamsterdam. But when we think about this, we also have over here, Ethereum ETFs saw an inflow of 383 million on Thursday, the second largest in history. And I said, do you hear that? That's the sound of phase 2 officially starting. Altcoin holders have no idea what's about to hit their portfolios. The reason why I bring this up is because this will lead into phase 2. Everyone is focused on Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs, just like every other cycle outside of course, the ETF discussions. Because every single cycle prior, everyone focused on Bitcoin. They didn't care about anything else because Bitcoin was going crazy. Then all of a sudden, altcoins just went insane and altcoins stole the show. This time around, it's no different. But the ETFs are a big signal of what's to come. And when we think about phase 2, Phase 2 leads to altcoins going insane. XRP, last 7 days, still up 30%. XLM, still up 81%. SUI, still up 35, almost 36%. HBAR, up over 51+%. This is just the waiting game until the next big wave on altcoins. But I want you guys to realize that mainstream media is not going to tell you about Ethereum right now. Not until it's too late. And during that time, altcoin holders are going to be very, very happy. And we're also focused on Bitcoin dominance because during this time, again, all of the discussions are still around Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is showing signs of weakness. If this continues to fall in the coming 1 to 2 weeks, that would be a signal that we're about to witness a massive altcoin run. And yeah, because right now, this is what Bitcoin dominance looks like on the 3-day. I've been talking to you guys about this trend being lost. We started to lose this back in the beginning of July. We're now 2 weeks into July. We're at 64.58%, while Ethereum is gaining pace in terms of ETFs and it's outperforming Bitcoin on the 7-day and on the 30-day, while Ethereum shorts are at all-time highs historically. This is a perfect narrative for Ethereum's phase 2 to start, leading into altcoins going parabolic. I want you guys to understand that I get that we've been hearing about altcoins going crazy for, weeks and months on end. The main thing that I have been focused on is July being the month where everything turns to altcoins. It's happening. I know that right now, it might not be extremely loud to the point where altcoins are going crazy, up 100+% on the 7 days or so. I mean, XLM is very close to it. It was close to it. I actually think that it broke 100% on the 7-day. But this is seriously just the beginning. So we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. By the end of this month, I do expect altcoins to continue going crazy, and they will look completely different than what I'm telling you guys right now. And I do think that by the end of this month, we will be in phase 2. And we should have Bitcoin dominance trading roughly around 60%, if not under 60%. We'll circle back to this. Obviously, things can change quick, but I do think that this market is about to erupt in a much larger way. ETF inflows are surging. The main thing is Ethereum. I understand that Bitcoin ETFs are still doing very good. I love to see that. It's great. It shows us that Bitcoin, focus is still, at all-time highs. And this is at a time where everyone's ignoring Ethereum and altcoins. The main focus here is altcoins, though. I understand that, we don't really care about Ethereum, but the main focus here is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then altcoins. My focus is still, I'm still focused fully on altcoins because ROI will be far greater than Ethereum. But the best part about this is all liquidity. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are creating a massive flood of liquidity that will flow into altcoins, surging all of the altcoin charts significantly higher. So the setup right now is so bullish. I'm very excited about this. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.